This is Danja, and check me out on YouKnowIGotSoul.com.
Just wanted to start out. I was actually introduced to your music through a song that you did for Genuine a couple years back, Better Half. How did that opportunity come about? I know you were working under Timberland at the time, but how did that particular opportunity come about?
I actually did that record before I started working with Tim. It was just, through meeting a bunch of different people. I was pretty young at that time.
Yeah.
And just meeting a bunch of different people. And I actually went to Genuine's house, met him at his house, and played him a bunch of tracks. He loved the tracks, loved the music. Out of that meeting, Better Half kind of happened.
Okay, cool. And with that song, that production is very different from what we know from you now. So, what was the approach like for that particular song?
Well, I was doing a lot of just, I always did a lot of different styles of music. Um, but, just for Genuine at that time, it was just a batch of just R&B tracks that I did, that I gave to him at that particular moment. So it was just, I was in an R&B, a real heavy R&B mode at that particular time. Along with other things I was doing, hip-hop stuff, but, you got to kind of cater the music to the type of
Yeah.
artists you're working with.
And a lot of people may not know this, but before, you became the super producer that you are now, yourself as well as Carrie Hilson and Marcella, you guys were all up-and-comers working under Timberland. So can you just kind of talk to me about the grind and the journey that you guys went through to develop into who you guys are today?
Well, it was just getting the opportunity as individuals to enhance our craft outside of the camp we came from. I began to work with Diddy a lot, to travel to see the work in Bad Boy at Daddy's house in New York. So I would work there. We would have our own room to work. So I just was left in my own space to grow and develop myself. And I always wanted to develop my own sound and my own style, and listening to a lot of different music and putting a lot of different things together and working with a lot of different artists. Uh, it didn't leave me any other reason but to come up with something that's eclectic and something to call my own. So just over time, working with a lot of different artists and having that opportunity for us to be by ourselves and work separately allowed us to grow.
Yeah, definitely. And moving forward with that, I know when you and Timbaland first came out, you guys had this crazy sound that was very unique and ended up blowing up everywhere. So, can you just kind of talk to me about that creative process? Like, how did you guys come up with that particular sound?
I think it's just two individuals with two different music minds being open-minded and coming together. Uh, that just created something different. Like, I have a different music opinion than what Tim has.
Yeah.
Even though we agree a lot on the same thing, but we just have a different approach with how we do things. We compromise. We compromise at the time just for the collaborative effort. But that's it. It's just two individuals. I'm not trying to do something that he does. He's not trying to do something that I did. We just both bringing something different to the table, and the hits that we made were a product of that.
Yeah. And it seemed like every song that you guys put out together, it ended up being a hit, from Justin Timberlake, Nelly Furtado, even Madonna. So, do you think that type of success can be replicated, or do you think it was just the right timing for that kind of music?
I think I don't know. You never know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I think it has been replicated in the sense of you had the dubstep movement, and I can't really speak so much for the dance movement because I think we opened the door for people, for the dance world, even the dub world. We opened the door
yeah,
for this broad international sound, and some of the all these people had an opportunity to also have hit records on the side because we already paved the way for that sound. It just really depends, you know, you never know. I think what we did at the time was just a product of fun in the studio and not really setting any boundaries or being inside of a box.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it can, no one knows the recipe or the, you know, of what exactly to do. Uh, there's no set thing that you need to follow in order to come up with that again. You know, I think when the stars align, it'll all happen again.
Yeah.
I don't know, but, you know, music evolves, and I think more than anything, people have to just keep their ears open for things that's new and different and not really expect kind of the same thing that's happened over and over. It'll happen, but it may be in a different form.
Yeah, for sure. And just talk about that decision for you to eventually branch out into your own and start your own thing. Because to a lot of people, it looks like a huge risk because you had a lot of hits with Timberland. Every song that you guys basically put out was a hit. So just talk about that decision to branch out and do your own thing.
Well, it just came from careers going in two different directions. He was uh, doing his thing touring and doing his thing touring and stuff like that with Justin, and I was still here working in the studio, working on projects. So it was just it wasn't necessarily a decision. It was just kind of the way things had fell. Um, so from that point, things picked up on my end, and I started working more and more on a lot of the things. Just kept it going.
Yeah, definitely. And just finally one last question, about Timbaland, because I know a lot of fans want to know. Do you see yourself working with him in the future?
Now we never know. We haven't planned on anything. We spoke a few times on a couple different things. I think for the right project, we'll link up and work. But as of now, there's nothing planned.
And then moving forward with that, you launched a new label, New Age Rockstar, which has a lot of great artists on there like Luke James, Kevin Cossum. What's been the challenge with running the whole label?
When you starting from scratch and you have to break artists from ground zero, you get a little bit of help from the record label, but that's not their strong point as far as breaking artists. So the challenge is just building awareness, and but it's good at the same time because we got the total creative freedom to do what we want to do. We're not pigeonholed to one thing or another, and we can really call out a lane for ourselves. So the challenge is synergizing everybody, and putting everybody on one plan and moving together. And but the beautiful thing about it is we can do what we want to do.
Yeah.
So I look forward to doing that and building a record label every day. I think the talent that I find speaks for themselves. And we're putting out music, mixtapes, we're putting out videos, and you just gotta watch us and follow us. It's small company, people don't really know right now. But we're building as we're growing every day and building more awareness. So just look out for the name, Launch Records, New Age Rockstar Records, and just follow. That's all I can say.
Yeah. And you mentioned that, and something that I've always noticed about you is for yourself, because I know a lot of times you let the music do the talking for you. You're not one of those producers who, I guess, look to be in the spotlight. You're, yeah. So do you think that brings you at a disadvantage when you're trying to push your label? That because you're not constantly looking for the spotlight, people might not.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not necessarily, I don't know what I could do or say, besides me doing my own project to draw attention to the label, which is things that we plan and things that are in the works. Um, but other than that, yeah, I'm not so much right. I'm not so much in the spotlight. But I think a lot of record labels have failed world in the past because the producers are so in the spotlight and so worried about their own brand that their artists fall to the wayside because they haven't pushed their artists at all.
Yep.
So I feel like my approach is to establish the artist first. Then I can come through once they're a bit established. Then I can come through and put the cherry on the top. And we can all share the spotlight instead of it's me and then I'm just hey, by the way I got this guy. By the way I got this guy.
Yeah.
My approach is just this is the team. These are the guys. Get familiar with them, and then I'll come through and with other projects I'm working on and other my own projects and stuff like that, and just make the whole awareness of the brand bigger.
Yeah. And you've always been someone who's been labeled as underrated in your time in the music industry. From fans to people who've worked with you, they've always labeled you as underrated. So, is that something that you're content with?
I'm definitely not content with being underrated.
Yeah.
But I don't. That doesn't bother me. That's people's opinion. I mean, I definitely feel that on a track per track basis, there's nobody in the world that can do a track like me with a song. Like we can go track to track. And when I say track to track, I mean from drum to snare to bass to hi hat to piano. We can go track to track, then go beat to beat. I don't feel like there's anybody in the world that can do anything in comparison to anything that I'm capable of doing on any level. And I'm not saying this just on some old cocky, I'm just being an asshole.
Yep.
I know how versatile. I'm very, very, very versatile. You can look at my catalog and see the range of things that I worked on. I'm glad that I'm not labeled as a hip hop producer because a lot of my music hasn't been just hip hop. It's been pop. It's been R&B. It's been rock. And I like different things. So that's fine with what people's opinions are. I still feel like I have a ways to go. I still feel like I got another 20 years, of just moving and shaking in the music business as a producer. So, I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still developing. I still don't feel like I have the perfect sound. I still don't feel like I have I'm not as I'm not as good as with instruments as I want to be. Just things with myself that I work on daily. And I think that is what separates me from a lot of people. Is that I don't feel like I'm all the way there yet.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like I'm probably the greatest, I still don't feel like I'm all the way there. So I continue to work and continue to build my own craft. I don't feel like I've made it yet. But the whole underrated thing is definitely nothing that's something I don't even think about. I've heard it here and there. I think that's a good thing, though. I think underrated is it leaves room for more.
Yeah.
It leaves room for me to show more. And it means I'm on the radar and people, they see exactly what I'm doing. And it's more so the question, like, why isn't he considered being even more great by other people versus, I'd rather be underrated than overrated.
Yeah, definitely.
Put it that way.
Yeah. And you're a producer who constantly switches up his sound. On the latest song that you did for Usher, I noticed that you incorporated some dubstep elements into it. So, how do you kind of decide when to switch it up, and how would you kind of describe your current sound now?
I don't know. I feel like when I did Till I Die, Chris Brown,
Yep.
and the Usher record, they both had dubstep influences. I still have tracks that has dubstep influences, but I just kind of try to stay ahead of the curve. Like I think the dubstep thing came. I don't think it's gone. People are still doing dubstep music and dubstep just wouldn't think about it. I try to. I can't say that anybody um, hadn't thought of some of the things I've done. It's just a matter of how they put it together. And more importantly, it's just about the song. The track can be anything. The track can be the most amazing track. It could be the most plain, bland track. But it's about that record. It's about that top line to make it a hit. So, I don't know. It's a feeling.
Yeah.
And normally my rule is when I place two records and people hear two or three records that sound the same for me, it's time for me to switch.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my rule. Then Till I Die came out, and the Usher record, I Care For You came out, I felt like, all right, now I need to start working on something new. Because you got to think, before you guys hear it, I've already been doing that for a year.
Yeah.
By the time you hear what I've been doing. So by the time you hear the next batch of things I've been doing, I've already been doing that for the past 6 or 7 months. So, my style now is just in a development. I'm searching right now, trying to experiment with different drums, different drum patterns, getting a little bit more intricate with my drum programming and my melodic and the mood. I say right now it's very, very moody, emotional, hard hit. I can't even describe it. I never can describe what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, I gotta leave that to y'all to tell me exactly what I'm doing. But I think now a lot of stuff is very moody, emotional, and it's still high. Even though it's moody and emotional, it's still high energy. That's the weird thing about it. So, I don't know. I can't put a name on it, but that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
Okay, very cool. And if I could just ask you about a couple of songs that you've done throughout the years, and if you could just give me some background on it or just the approach that you had with the song.
Okay.
The first one is the one that you did for Tank, This Is How I Feel, which is, very different for Tank. So, what was the approach with that one?
Oh man, I'm trying to think of how it even came about. I want to say he was writing to another track, and I was working in headphones, and I came up with it and just played it, and he loved it, and it was just sexy. It just was sexy, but it was hard, and that's what he came up with as far as the song. But I don't know. It's just one of those in the studio things that things are happening. Those are the things that happen when you're in the studio instead of sending tracks and stuff like that. So it was just in the studio. There wasn't any thought put to it like this is what we want to do. We want to do something like this. It was just this is what was created at the time. We jump on it and we got what we got.
Yeah, cool. And then another record that you did is the one on Brandy's new album, Can You Hear Me Now? Talk about that one.
Can You Hear Me Now? The record we both love wrote.
Yep.
And it was one of those Last Train to Paris beats.
Okay.
That didn't make didn't make it. Did he love the song? But I guess it didn't fit into the overall vein of what he was doing, and he was collecting so many records at the time. But he loved it, and it was one of those Last Train to Paris tracks that didn't make the cut. That was still different, and that's another sound I've been experimenting with. The vocoder and trying to, instead of just singing through the vocoder, I'm trying to do different things with it, like beatbox and mumble or whatever. Do an arpeggiated pattern with my mouth or something. Just something weird.
Yeah.
I think one of the other times you heard me, I heard the vocoder is a track that leaked off one of Usher's records where I was singing through it, and I did like a hype man through the vocoder.
Yeah.
So it's called Stay Down.
Yeah.
It leaked.
Yeah.
Another one was another vibe with something that I got on Luke's new pre-out coming out. He's tucked in it. It's called Love Child. It's actually actually the intro to this new video.
Okay.
You may hear it tucked back a little bit, but those kind of the styles I've been. That one is still in development. I think it's still a bit ahead of its time, so I got a little bit of time to really get that right.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, basically, the Can You Hear Me Now is definitely a Last Train to Paris track I didn't make.
And the last track that I want to ask you about, and I consider this like the classic Danja sound, which is "Where Did He Go" by Carrie Hilson. Talk about that song.
Um, where did he go? That's a collaboration. That was myself and Tim.
Yeah.
And Tim with the drums, and I just played a guitar line, and he just, he would sample what I do and reprogram it in the ASR. He did that to ASR. So that was, yeah, that's an old
Yeah.
throwback track, but collaborative after. So it's two brains on that record.
Yeah.
The drum style and the melodics for me.
Yeah. And as far as New Age rock stars, I know you guys have a lot of things planned. I know you mentioned it earlier, but Luke James, I know he has a single coming out, and I found it interesting because it was produced by Salam Remy and not yourself. So, I mean, for a lot of producers who sign artists, they want to produce the entire project because it is their artist, but you've seen them make that sacrifice and have Salam Remy produce a song. So just talk about that.
Well, for me, it's about the record. It's not about me. I definitely did some amazing records for him. And if collectively we don't feel like it's a single, then we won't go with it. If I can always be beat out by another producer. But for me, I don't have to do the record. I don't have to do the whole entire record. Salon Remy and Leo wrote it, and they had this amazing record for Luke, and Luke really killed it vocally. I think his vocal performance, more than anything, is why that record sticks out so crazy. And it's an open track, so it just leaves no space but for Luke to shine. So his vocal performance was amazing, and yeah, it doesn't matter where it comes from. We have other producers on the record. Kevin Cotham also
Yeah.
works with other producers, so it doesn't. It's really about a record. It's not. I can be selfish and I can be limiting the artist at the same time because what I'm probably currently doing may not be right for radio, may not be right for the artist or whatever. But ultimately, it's like may the best record win.
Yeah.
And I think with that competitive nature on it from everybody, that's how we're gonna always come up with the best record. Ultimately I win because Luke James is on Nas record. So, it's not a lose situation with me not having a record. So, but his pre-album that we did, I did a lot of it, and I'm very proud of this next project we're releasing on him on 12/12/12.
Okay, cool. And what can we expect from New Age rock stars or anything that you have coming up as far as projects for other artists? What can we expect from that?
For New Age Rock Stars, we have Caligula. We have a new single from him that's crazy that I don't want to mention who's on it yet or the singer, but it's crazy. Kevin Costner has a new record we're shooting a video with today called Sexy Time. Luke, his new single produced by Salon Remy and written by Neo. And his video is amazing. He has a new pre-album coming out, 12/12/12. Wild Money, Street Power to Be. It's definitely feeling like a hip-hop street classic project, which is coming up soon. And we have videos for everything. Because just got to just pay attention and follow us. And just keep track of what we're doing. We got a lot of stuff rolling out. And as far as myself, I have a couple of mixtapes ideas in the works, and I just have to get started on them. But that's for Nas Records, and for Danja has, Danja, the producer, a collaborative project with Babyface for Aretha Franklin. Um, what else? I worked with a few new artists, one named B. Smith on Motown, and Jacob Lattimore. Uh, it's a few, just, you know, some that I just can't mention because it's still in the works. So
Yeah.
I'm still very active and working, as a producer. So I'm just trying to knock out as many records as I can and come up with as many hits as I can. And very busy. We're very busy over here from all angles. And it's a good time. I think just, follow us, pay attention, and you'll see exactly what we got going on. We're definitely doing good music. And it's something for everybody with New Age Rockstar Records. And that's one of the things I'm proud of. That is we're not just hip hop or R&B or pop. We can do everything that crosses into everything. So it's something for everybody with us. Like I said, working hard just on the production side as well. Keep a lookout.
Yeah, definitely. And that's all that I had for you. Is there anything that you'd like to add?
Um, nah, I don't have anything. Just my Twitter at Only One Danger was I see you tweeting and stuff like that. So I know you got that
Yep.
at New Age Rockstar Records. I don't know. It's going to be a very, very exciting time. Um, Videos are going to just start dropping out of the sky. So just keep watching.